Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here today. Wow, I tried coming on here before and I don't know. Anyway, but I am here now. I don't know what's going on with the computer, but it's working now. So thank you all for being here today. Happy Tuesday. And anyway, it's Tuesday and I have a different topic of discussion today, but it all relates to healing. Um, so I hope your day is going well. I hope these messages are helping you guys, and that you are benefiting from these messages, and that um, these messages are actually resonating with you and perhaps the situations that you may be going through currently, or maybe something that you may have already went through. But continue to show up here and we'll talk about it. And one day at a time, one step at a time. So, guys, the topic of discussion today is called the awakening. What I want to do in this video is talk a little bit more about the things that I've gone through, because it will help you to not just only understand me a little better, but understand that when we go through all these trials and tribulations and it doesn't break us, it makes us stronger. We become that warrior like individual when you go through these trials and tribulations, and you can help other people who may be currently going through these same situations. So let's talk about this. Um, want to talk about, I'm calling this topic the awakening, because there was a time shortly after my mom passed away that I was in so much pain, pain on top of pain, because not only did she pass away, but I had 10 to 12 other people on top of that who passed away, like a domino effect. And then there was a friend of mine who, I really, um, really, we were really good friends. We were supposed to meet, and then I find out that she passed away, and it was a really, really difficult time in my life. You know, pain on top of pain will cause you to heal or either go into despair. And for a long time, I felt down for the count, because it was just a lot of things happening all at once, like a domino effect. So shortly after losing my mother, I I was seeing someone before that, and I ended that. But then I about a year later met somebody else, and dated for about 7 months. When you're grieving and you're going through all these things, you're not thinking clearly sometimes. So I met someone, but I took my time. I guess 7 months, whatever, until I found out a horrific betrayal from this individual. And it's the type of betrayal that is very, very difficult to come back, because I'm not talking about just the cheating. It was just something else that should have been told to me um, during the beginning of the relationship. Because if it had been told to me, I would have made a decision to opt out of it and not find out the way I did. And even after I found out this horrific betrayal, which the person can't deny, but they continue to try to deny it and lie about it. And it was just, it's just something that I can't even talk about. I mean, today I'm really pretty much over it, because I did a lot of healing on myself and therapy and everything. But imagine going through the loss and the pain and the grief of losing all these people, and then you meet someone, and you give it a try and you find this out. The betrayal was so bad it had me on my knees in a place of despair for nearly a year after the situation was over with. And I'm going to call it a situation, because I can't even really say a relationship because of the betrayal that occurred, because it would have never been a relationship if I would have found out what it was ahead of time. Um, and what happened with that is that I was in such despair for so long. I was in isolation. And that's when I can talk about the awakening, because I was down and down, and I asked God to help me through this. And not only that, like the pain, I was angry, so angry, because why would somebody lie about something like this? Because it's something huge that affect the entire relationship. And there is, according to, for me, there is no relationship when it's something like this. It's not. And just people, during a time of dating this person and going out and, taking somebody to when I was going to church on a regular basis and taking that person. And, it was just something that I'm not going to get into the details of it, but it was a betrayal that you can't really, most people don't come back from it, you know. And so I asked God to help me with this and help me through it. And He started to work with me because I was more angry than anything else. And then 5 months after this was over, this person had the audacity to contact me and pretend nothing happened, wanted to come back. Are you crazy? You lost your mind? I had so many choice words that I won't even say here. I had a whole lot because I was pissed off in a big way, because these are things you don't do to people, you know. And so after praying and asking God for help and being angry and, oh, thank God I didn't allow myself to slip into a place of bitterness, because I have a friend from New York who, went through something similar, but not as bad, not like that. But she allowed the situation to create bitterness. And I said, don't allow things that happen to you to create bitterness. Because even back then, before I had this awakening, I knew some of these things were lessons. I just didn't, until I started to meditate and stay in prayer and lift myself up. I was in isolation for a long time, just going to the gym every day. And I was so mad, guys, that I was in a gym like every other day. Um, and I was pumping iron, and the men were standing around me because I was pumping so much iron. I didn't even realize I was, because that's how angry I was about the betrayal. And I looked up, and these guys were looking at me and saying, "Damn, what?" And then I just would get up and leave, because that's how angry, you know, finding out what this was. And I had to take a lot of time to myself. And as I stayed in prayer, and then I started, I was doing therapy and talked to my therapist about it. And he never has like a real reaction. He had a reaction to this, and he said, "Oh my God." And, and that was it for me for a long time with dating, because nobody should do anything like this to anyone. But I had an awakening after praying and asking God for help with this, because I just wasn't in a good place. And I decided that, okay, for now, I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to build me up so that, I can be okay. Invest in myself to love and to build me up. And it took a long time to learn ways to do that, and I would look at videos with other people and what they went through and how they dealt with it. And one of the things I did is I spoke to an older sibling about it. And this is where I don't deal with family, because the oldest sibling that I talked to about, she thought it was funny. I didn't see anything comical about this whatsoever, because this can lead somebody to just, anyway. I'm gonna leave it like that. But it took me over a year to do the work, to get the anger out, and to move past this. And 5 months or 6 months after the fact, and this person wanted to reconcile. Reconcile what? Reconcile what? You're lucky that I haven't done anything more at this point, because that's how I was feeling. But I had to allow myself to heal, invest in me, take care of me, because that's how bad it was. And I had never experienced anything like that. I've heard other people go through, I had a coworker years ago who dealt with something like this, but he did something uh, to the contrary. But anyway, for me, it was horrific. And um, so I had to do more healing work, and it took a long time, people. And I had to look in the mirror and say, you know, why me? God, why me? Why do I have to deal with this? I'm already grieving my mother, grieving my dog too, because he had um, not too long after that had passed away. And then I meet someone, and I think this person is going to be in my life, and this person, it was just horrific. And so I had to pull myself together and say, you know what? I'm going to invest in me. The hell with all this other shit. I'm going to invest in me. And it took a long time. I started going to the gym a lot. I started to read a lot, look up things. And then I started to learn how to trust my intuition, because your intuition will tell you things. And sometimes we don't want to listen to it because, especially in matters of the heart, we like somebody, and this person can make us feel a certain way, and etc. and so forth. But the red flags are there. In this case, I didn't know the red flag was this situation. I knew there was something off, but the least I was back then didn't listen to the red flag. I just, hey, I like this person, want to see where this go. And today I listen to the red flags. I listen to them, because your intuition, whether you're a male or female watching this video, will never lead you in the wrong direction. If something seems off and you keep getting that feeling that this doesn't feel right, there's something weird or whatever about this. You guys know what I'm talking about. You get that feeling deep in you. There's something wrong with this situation here. I can't pinpoint it, but I know something is quite not right. You have to let yourself feel that, and you have to go with that, because that's your intuition telling you that something is wrong with this situation right here. You know, um, and what I should have done is, when I started to feel that, is take a step back. The least I am today would take a step back, and and not allow myself to go any further with it, and to listen to my intuition. But the least I was back then didn't. And then when the truth came out, it was just wow, wow. And so I stopped dating for a long time, probably 2 years after that, and just build myself up, and continue to work on me, so that I can be the best version of myself. And not only that, guys, so that I know how to use my intuition when it's telling me something. And then I was doing the work that my therapist was giving me to do. He was really telling me, don't beat yourself up over the situation, because you didn't know, how it was, and we had conversations about intuition. And it's important to listen to that, because there was a movie I was watching a while back. I think it was Lawrence Tate. What was it about? It was that singer from the 60s. And Vivica Fox was in it, and Holly Berry. And the part with Vivica Fox, when she met Lawrence Tate in a movie, I can't remember the name right now, but it was a famous singer from the 60s. They were telling this life story in this movie. And he had a substance abuse problem. And as she went to his house, and they were talking and things, and she saw track marks on his arm. That's a huge red flag that this is going to be a problem moving forward. But she ignored the signs and continued to date and see him. And then, everything else started to play out in a negative way. So when you see, I mean, that's an extreme situation, but when you see red flags, it is showing you what is to come moving forward. I'm not talking about little things like an argument or something like that. I'm talking about huge things that can affect the relationship, in a negative manner. These are things that you need to pay attention to, and don't make excuses for. And this is how I in the past would not listen to these red flags and get into these relationships that turn abusive. Because anybody who's, toxic, things, there are certain signs. But in the beginning, we ignored them. Some of us ignored them. Like, I'm going to use myself. I ignored them because, oh, I like this person. I want to get to know them, etc. But these flags, it's not like a red flag. It's a siren going off saying, hey, look at this. This is a huge problem. And I would just brush it off until I got deeper into the situation. And then now you hook, line, and sinker in a situation. And now these toxic things are coming out that you don't want to deal with, that you don't want in your life. But you're already in it, in the middle of it. Like I said before, then I was in a 10-year relationship with this toxicity, first starting off with verbal abuse. And then towards the end, it got physical until I started fighting back. And then it was the end of it. But now what I do with anything, whether it's friendships or something that's going to lead to a relationship, I look at the red flags. What is it? And then I make a list of what I don't want. Guys, this is important too. Make a list of things that you don't want, that you consider to be toxic. And then make a list of things that you do want. And then when you meet people and situations, and then let's see what outweighs what. If the toxicity outweighed the list of what you want, then that's a problem. And that's what I kind of do now. Look at things that way. Make a list of everything that I don't want, and then make a list of everything that I do want, and then check off, and see if it, what outweighs what. And that's one way that you're helping yourself too. you know it's so important because the world we live in today, people tell you anything. And I don't just believe everything I hear. I mean, and there are people out there who believe whatever anybody tell them without doing the research. And if that's the case, guys, I got a Brooklyn Bridge I want to sell you. And I could tell somebody meet me there, and somebody will be gullible enough to do that. And make sure you're researching people and who they are, and not let people tell you anything and take it at face value. And look at the signs, the red flags, pay attention to them. If there's, you know, something there that makes you feel uncomfortable, go with it. Listen to your intuition. As I said, it would never lead you in the wrong direction. And because of all these things I went through on top of one another, losing all these people out of my life and then getting involved with this situation, dealing with all of this. And I just went into a deep meditation, prayer, isolation for a long time. And when I came back out into the world, what doesn't destroy you will make you stronger. I promise you. Remember, I always talk about, and I probably say this many times on these videos, that situations and people come into our life for a reason, season, lifetime, or a lesson. And these things were lessons that I didn't learn. So they were coming back into my life. And when they came back, it's worse each time. And now that I know these things, I try to learn these lessons as quickly as possible so I don't have to repeat them, you know. And, just keep working on yourself. And one day at a time, one brick at a time, one step at a time, and don't rush the process. Take your time, work on yourself, and make a list of what you don't want and what you do want, and stick to that. And take one day at a time. You're gonna have days you feel really good, and you're gonna have other days that you don't. But don't beat yourself up about that, because we are all human, and that's the way it is. But take one day at a time and keep working on yourself and keep building yourself up, and you're going to start to feel better, and you're going to start to see the results in your life that you want to see. It won't be overnight, but you eventually, as you keep moving forward, you will see those results. And ask God to help you as you take a step to help yourself. Like I said, you take that step, God is behind the scene taking 2 and 3 steps on your behalf, and you're going to start to see that as well. and invite other people here, because a lot of people, when they feel overwhelmed by life and these problems and situations, they go into a place of feeling despair and hopelessness, and we never want any of that. So invite people to this channel so that we can talk about all types of things that um, we need to heal, and if it resonates with you, that's great. Some days these messages are going to resonate with you and what your circumstances are, and other days it may not. But continue to show up here, because we're going to talk about all these things and ways to heal it. And it doesn't happen overnight. It happens one day at a time. Remember, we all want to be at a place of peace instead of broken down into pieces. That's the message today, guys. Share it with others. I have to go back to work now, but I wanted to be here to uplift you and talk about the awakening and how my life changed. I mean, everything went downhill, but then as I start to build myself up, I'm at a place where I'm stronger than ever. And those are lessons. And I share those things with you because it may help someone who's currently listening to this video. Thank you for being here, guys, and you have a great day, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye for now.